showcase the best high school hockey teams in the Section 7A title game. But tonight it was all eyes on the first and second seed out of the Section 7 AA with the trip to state on the line. In fact, two teams who met just a few weeks ago. Second seed Andover looking for revenge over top seed Grand Rapids tonight. The visiting Huskies also seeking their 5th consecutive section title, while the Rapids are looking for their first since 2017. It was Cal Conway versus Carter Casey tonight, and to say these two were busy tonight would be quite the understatement. So right out of the gates here, Ben Dahl fighting off Rapids defenders, sends the backdoor pass to Keaton Coe, who's got nothing but space. The Huskies claim the night's first lead, 1-0. Not even a minute into the second period, Landon, Stringfellow, and Brooks Cogswell skating together. Cogswell gets the centering pass from Stringfellow, just what he needed to cement goal number 2 past Casey. It's 2-0 Andover for now. So a few minutes later, Kyle Miller is coming around the corner boards, puts the puck on net near Caleb Gunderson. Gus Drennan is there to assist in breaking the wall of Conway, and 2 is better than 1. Drennan pokes the puck to the back of the net, giving Grand Rapids life and cutting Andover's lead right in half. Now, early third period, puck is put in the middle of the ice where sophomore Seth Carlson shoots it, deflects off an Andover stick, and the knuckle puck beats Conway. Thunderhawks rally to tie this one up at 2 apiece. So we needed not 1 but 2 overtimes. It's Carlson again with the shot. Puck bounced in the air and behind the goalie. Confusion on the ice as the refs initially say no goal. But after the review, we have a good goal that sends the Grand Rapids Thunderhawks to the state finals, and Carlson's second of the game to send them to their first state tournament since 2017, where they also won the section title game in double overtime, which is also the last time they went on to win the state title. And even though